Hey guys, I'm back today and I just realized I left my mic downstairs. But anyways, we're just going to get started, just the details. So today I'm talking about daily rituals of chic women. So this is kind of a part two to the video I did 2 weeks ago on grooming rituals of chic women, and you guys loved it. So I decided that we would take it a step further and talk about some more rituals and routines and things like that. But I really want to start out talking about this topic by discussing first the difference between routines and rituals. So you guys know that I am a huge routine person, right? I love routines. I thrive on routines. My family, my children thrive on routines. And I have found a hack for myself, and there's scientific backup of this. I've discussed it many times in different videos on how you can have daily triggers that can help set routines, and it can also help you break bad habits by changing your routines. So I've discussed that in other videos. I won't go into that, but today I really wanted to touch on the topic of routines versus rituals. And my hair, I'm not digging my hair like that today, so let's just let it down. Let's just let loose a little bit. Say hi if you guys are here. Give me a thumbs up. Say hi in the chat box and let me know that you guys are listening. So what is the difference between routines and rituals? So there are some similarities, but there are some key differences which really sets them apart. Hi Alexa, I'm so glad you're here, and thank you for moderating today. So routines, love them. I've talked about triggers and how you can help, different triggers can help you set routines or break routines. They're structure, right? They're having a series of tasks done consistently. It's basically about having structure so that you can have a more consistent pattern in your life. They're habits, right? You don't have to think about them. You hopefully, if you've done things right, routines are set up in a way where it's mindless. You just do them. They don't require a lot of thought. Rituals, on the other hand, the similarity with the routines is it's also a series of tasks. It is more intentional. It provides more pleasure, more enjoyment. It's almost like a celebration. When we think of ritual, we think of a ceremony. We think of rituals are almost divine. They're spiritual. They demand thought. They demand that you are in the moment. They almost, to me, they demand mindfulness. It's the difference in attitude between the routine and the ritual. But that key difference in attitude, it's everything. So again, I love routines. So this talk is not in any way bashing routines. I love them. They give my life structure. I really thrive on them, like I've said before in many videos. But I got to a point where I wanted a little bit more. I wanted to move a step further, and I wanted to really be able to celebrate a lot of the things that I do. And when I've talked about many different routines, like my morning routine, my nighttime routine, one thing that I've said was that, the importance of routines and what routines I did, but I never talked about this key factor of rituals. And this is really important because what I've realized is that a lot of things that I was calling routines were actually rituals to me. And let me give you guys examples of these. So the mindfulness pact, right? So when I started off and I wanted to do a workout routine, and I really wanted to start working out, and I really wanted to be consistent this time. I've worked out before and I've always let it go, and this time I was like, no, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna stick with it, right? So it's been 2 years. So in the beginning, I was so focused on making that a routine. I identified my triggers. I did them consistently. I made a routine. I had that little fear factor where, is it really a routine? What if I miss a day? Am I not going to work out? And I said it so much that it built confidence for myself to a point where I said, okay, I can do this. But I realized as I was working out that working out really wasn't a mindless task for me. So one of the key definitions of routines is that you don't have to think about it. It's a set routine for me where I don't have to convince myself to do it, but I enjoy it so much. It's a ritual. It is a ceremony. It is a celebration of this beautiful body that I have been blessed with. And we all have been blessed with a beautiful body, right? The body is where our soul resides. We should cherish it. It's a blessing. So I wanted to kind of move into that realm because I actually consider working out as part of my meditation. So to me, looking at it as a ritual just upgrades it. And it's the same thing. I'm still working out at the same time. I still have that set triggers that lead to my workout. It's still a routine, but looking at it as a ritual, it's that key shift in mindset where it becomes almost spiritual. It becomes this engagement. It's like I'm at one with it. I'm thinking about it. I'm not doing it mindlessly. I'm all in. My body's in it. My mind is in it. I'm present. That key shift, it takes you to a different level between merely having routines and going through the mundane tasks of everyday life versus enjoying life and celebrating life and cherishing moments. Not everything that you do is going to be a ritual, and if everything was, maybe that would take away from the joy of that and it wouldn't be a ritual anymore. But if certain things, if you could look at it as rituals versus I'm just going through the motions, I'm just going to get this thing done and then move on to the next test. If you could have that laser sharp, like almost like mindfulness, like I'm enjoying, this is for pleasure. And I'm not saying you have to force it. Do it in the things where it naturally feels this way. Working out is almost, it's worshiping the body, it's worshiping the soul, right? It's really giving tribute to the fact that we have been blessed with this body, that we have been blessed with this life, and we are taking care of it. It's our self-care. So I would really like to look at that as a ritual and not this just some routine that I'm doing mindlessly. So let me see what you guys are saying, and I'm going to give you guys some key examples from my life and the things that I consider that started off as routines but have now become rituals for me. They're the celebration of life. They are the things that give my life, I don't know, they just give it that luxury. They give it that mindfulness. They are the things that I jump out of bed with, out of joy with, because I'm excited. And one thing I mentioned in my life like chat is that concept of we run through our life and our day and our tasks so quickly, just moving on to the next task. Let's put the kids to bed so we can do this, or let's just finish through homework, let's just get through this. There's always this, let's just get this done, put it away, tuck it away, and get to the next thing. But what about the things that we really enjoy doing and we really need to slow down for so that we can cherish them? What about those things? How can we shift those things into almost rituals so that we're looking at them in a very conscious way and we're savoring those moments? So M said, hi Mina, good topics. I love working out too. Yeah, so that's your ritual. That's your daily ritual. Think of it as that. Hi Ross, thank you for moderating. Jyoti Singh said, hi from Sydney, Australia. So glad to have caught you live. Hi Jyoti. Hi Tuba. Thank you for moderating. CMD said, hi. Omara said, hi Mina, love your videos. I have learned so much through your videos. You have been a blessing. Thank you so much. Archana said, hi Mina, so happy to catch you live. And hi Caitlin. Welcome guys. So this is supposed to be interactive, so let me know your thoughts on that. Have you ever taken the time to compare rituals versus routines? And again, I love rituals and I love routines, so this isn't like, in a way, I'm not trying to bash any one of them. I think some things in my life need to still be routines because I don't hate them, but they're not rituals either. I'm not like, dancing for joy from doing them, but they get done because I have a routine. So let's leave those in the routine category. So here's some simple shifts that I've done. So every morning when I would wake up, I would have my cup of coffee, and I really enjoy drinking coffee. And it's not even so much that I need it, because I feel like I wake up pretty energized now because of my lifestyle shift, but I really do savor and enjoy that coffee. And so typically I would just make my coffee and drink it walking around the home, or checking email and doing tasks like this, or watching even educational things on YouTube like Tony Robbins videos and things like that. And those are inspirational videos, so I enjoyed those. But now what I do is I just open the door and literally step outside. Sometimes it's just for 5 minutes, but getting that fresh breeze and getting a whiff of nature and just being outside, it's so peaceful in my neighborhood in the morning. Like, it's just really quiet, and it just feels almost spiritual. It's, you know how that early morning feel is. I'm definitely a morning person. That can you guys tell? But and I just savor it. And that simple shift for me, it's that mindset. It's a difference in attitude versus just like walking around and drinking that coffee cup or even sitting in front of the computer. It feels very different to be looking at my plants or just enjoying. There's so many birds in our neighborhood. You can step outside at any time and just hear a bunch of birds, and just having them chirping, and it just wakes me up, and it just makes me feel alive in all of my senses. So that to me is a difference between drinking your coffee as a routine because you woke up, you drink your coffee, routine, mindless, right? And drinking your coffee as a ritual is being mindful and enjoying and savoring it with all of your senses, not just with your taste buds, but you're hearing the birds at the time and feeling the breeze, and it's this whole different feel to it. Working out, when I work out, that's my quiet time. I typically do not listen to music when I work out. I don't want it to be really loud. This is my time where it's almost like meditation plus working out. So I will recite affirmations to myself, and this is just things that naturally come to me. Typically, this is just something I naturally do throughout my day. It's not forced. I don't have to tell myself to do this, but this naturally comes out of my mouth at least 10 to 15 times during the day, and I feel so blessed to be even sharing this, is how much I love my life. I'm just so grateful for my life, for being able to watch my children grow and enjoy all of the wonderful moments in life with friends and family and loved ones. So I will say things like that. And since I'm working out and I try to be focused on my body, I will say positive things about my body, on how it's healed after all of the things that I've been through with my health journey, and focus on the positive aspects of my body, things that I'm proud of, things that I enjoy and find beautiful, things like that. So I will usually think, I will be thankful for my health at that time. And typically you will see a pattern, whatever act I'm doing, and you'll see this more, and then I'll touch on this. So when I'm taking my vitamins, my supplements, it's a very much routine thing for me. I have certain triggers that lead me to do that. And if I miss that trigger, I generally will forget to take my vitamins. So this is a key thing for me. Obviously, it's become a routine. But the way I shifted that routine into a ritual was that last year I started noticing that when I was swallowing my pills, that sometimes they would get stuck in. I would have this weird feeling that they were stuck in my throat. They really weren't, but I would feel really weird. So I Googled it and I was researching it, and it turned a lot of articles online said that it's more psychological because we are not used to swallowing things whole, right? Typically when we consume food, we chew it. And so this whole artificial concept of taking supplements, it's the body doesn't register. It feels weird to the body. So I said, okay, I need to slow down, and I need to almost pretend like I'm chewing it to the fact. I did switch a lot of my supplements to powders and liquids, but you can't do that with everything, right? So I slowed down the process. I realized when I was taking my supplements, I was taking them too fast. That's a routine. So how I switched it to a ritual is that now when I take my supplements, I take them one at a time, and during that time, I will thank. I will go through different affirmations. So I will thank the universe for my body, for my health, for the fact that I can afford these supplements, and the blessing of having the technology that we have these supplements available, the research, the fact that we live in a time that we can use supplements. So simple things like this, and it really helps me be mindful of the fact that I'm taking supplements. And then I realized as soon as I started doing this, that weird lump feeling in the throat of feeling like the supplement was stuck went away. So it's just so fascinating how the mind works, right? Everything it's your mind. It's those games that it plays. I'm still taking my supplements, but just that shift in thinking and being more mindful of it changes everything. I'm going to share a lot more examples like that, but let me see what you guys are saying. Hi, Universal Journey. Tuba said, I used to listen to music and drown myself in entertainment while I did cardio. Now that I ditched cardio and only do weights, I'm fine without music. I just like the quiet. I'm the same way. I tried listening to music in the beginning. Now, I'm a 80s and 90s child, right? So I grew up with like Tupac and Eminem and stuff. So I don't listen to music a lot. So when I started listening, I was like, jamming on, like trying to work out on like Eminem and stuff. And yikes, my taste has changed. And now I can't take that loudness and that crudeness. And it's just so different. When I used to listen to it back then, it felt different. And it didn't do it for me now. And I was just like, whoa, this is loud. And I agree with you, Tuba. I need that silence and that meditation time and that quiet. So yes, Tuba. Yeah, and sometimes when you need the music to distract you, I know many people that cannot imagine working out without music, and that's fine. You need to do what you need to do it, right? But for me personally, this is my time to get my affirmations in and really just treat it like meditation and do my thinking. Funny thing, I think of most of my video ideas while I'm working out because they just come to me naturally then. Amy said, hi Mina, I love how you speak. You're so positive and relatable. So happy to have caught you live. I'm learning so much from you. Amy, you're so sweet. I just can't believe how sometimes you hear things right when you need to hear, when you need them. The funny thing is, yesterday I was analyzing how I speak for some odd reason, and I was thinking that I need to improve on it, and I probably do. And I was thinking that maybe, I should improve on my public speaking skills. And here you are today complimenting me on my speaking. So it's just funny how sometimes you need somebody to say certain things and then they just say it. Thank you so much. That just made my day. I really appreciate that. Let's see. Alex said, one of my very good friends, Dr. Edie, recommended me to chew the water or the green juice in order to activate enzymes. Yes. So I have heard the same thing of green juice, or I'm sorry, green smoothie. Now I make, mine ends up being, our NutriBullet is super old and it broke a few times, but Irfan keeps fixing it. That's for having an engineer husband, so we can't replace it yet. But the blades are kind of getting rough now, so it's like it doesn't really grind that well, so you have to chew it. So yes, but I know what you mean, and I think you should do the same thing with supplements because otherwise you get that weird. One of my clients was saying the same thing, that she was having trouble swallowing her supplements, and I told her the same thing, that go slow and almost mimic. Don't actually chew them because some of them taste gross, but mimic chewing, and that helps. Mrs. Lopez said, hello Mina, so happy to catch you live. I love watching your videos and look forward to new ones. Thank you so much. That just makes my day. Thank you guys. Rose said, you inspire me to love myself and care for my health and happiness, to stop comparing my life to everyone else's. I'm so happy I found you, and I'm so happy for this community. Thank you, Rose. I was introduced to a new friend today by one of my dear friends, Sarah, and we were talking about this, about social media, a lot of things, law of attraction and different things like that. And this was one of the things that, we're comparing our ins, all of the dirty little secrets that we know about ourselves, right? That our thighs jiggle and those stretch marks and every little detail, the way our kids annoy us or what our husband says. But then we see this glossy little snapshot of somebody else's life on social media, and we're comparing our ins with somebody else's out. Their one little snapshot. And so we have to stop doing that because that's not real life, right? And even if it is, that's their real life. We need to focus on creating our own real life. So that was the vitamins. Some of the other things that I started off as routines and I've slowly shifted them into ritual modes, it's my dry brushing. So, everybody gets up and everybody takes a shower. That's everybody's routine. Or maybe you take yours right before bath. You're right before bedtime, you take a bath. Everybody does that. But to me, it was really important to cherish this time because as moms, we realize that, these are sacred moments of self-care that we have built into our life, right? They're rare moments sometimes, and it's taken a long time to get here. As my kids are getting a little bit older, it's becoming easier. So when I do my dry brushing, instead of just dry brushing, like, oh girl, you gotta just get this over with, I intentionally slow myself down and I try to cherish it. And again, you guys will notice that pattern is that when I'm dry brushing, I'm focused on my skin. I will say nice things about my skin. I will, I'm a mom. I still have those stretch marks. I still have all the little quirks, that I have built on my skin, my badges of honor. But, I also have a beautiful body with healthy skin, and I need to appreciate that because one day that will fade away. And so, as I dry brush my body, I will say how blessed I am to have a body, how blessed I am to have this moment to be able to dry brush my body and to even have this knowledge. 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't know about dry brushing. I didn't think I would be able to fade all the stretch marks that I have, and they have faded beautifully. So they're not gone, but they have faded. Like, I'm working on that. So the fact that I'm able to work on that, and I have a dry brush, and I have this knowledge and this information and this luxury of being able to take those 2 minutes for myself, I need to celebrate that. And that's what I'm talking about, girls. You have to shift that mindset of, I gotta get through this. I gotta get this done. It's that to do this, right? It's like, let's do this to move to the next thing. I was telling my son this. I have this weird habit where some days I will just, I have like certain things I need to get done, but I will go through the day frantically, like I have to be somewhere, but I don't. And it's the most annoying habit, because I notice that with my rushed behavior, I will panic my family. Like, I can't even explain it. I don't know if you guys can even relate to this. I will be like, let's do this, guys, hurry up, get breakfast done. Like, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. And I will catch myself. And that's why I was telling my son this. I said, Arman, I have this weird feeling right now. Like, I have to just get through everything. But we don't have anywhere to go. It's summer. We don't have anything like time-wise planned. Like, we had plans, but they were like leisurely plans. So why am I rushing? And he's like, why are you? And you're giving off this really weird energy where I feel like I have to rush. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I do that. But it's so important to catch ourselves in doing this, because it's the weirdest feeling, and it's strange, right? I don't want to rush my day. I need to cherish my moments. And yes, there are days where we need to rush, or there are moments, but it's the oddest thing to me is when I'm doing it when I don't need to do it, and I'm giving off the strange energy off to my family, like they are doing something wrong by being in the moment and enjoying their breakfast or enjoying whatever. At the time that I was having this conversation, my son was actually washing the dishes off, like rinsing them off and putting them in the dishwasher. And he was doing it in a way that was almost therapeutic. Like, I don't know, he just had this way of doing it. Like, he was just and I was rushing him. Why? Like, how stupid is that? So I want you guys to kind of get in the habit of being able to catch yourself in those strange moments. And this is a work in progress for me. So please do not take it as like I've like switched off all of my routines into rituals. It's a daily practice, and one that I work on really, really hard. Let's see. Stephanie said, Mina, I drink green juice every day now and I feel amazing. I'm so glad to hear that. Live the moment, Frida. Yes, finding joy in everything. Yes, because this is life. Like, this is it. Like, it's just passing us by, and we need to be able to slow down. So another thing is that when I get out of my shower, so I do this, get in my shower, and then when I get out, I do my cancer busting lotion recipe that I shared with you guys with the coconut oil and the shea butter, and you can find that recipe on my channel. So I will take, my lotion, mix it up, and I will apply that to my body. It literally takes 2 minutes. But I will take the time. I have some rough patches, like my knees and like my elbows, and I will take my time and make sure that I get those areas. And this is where I'm doing it mindfully in a way, and there's that delicate balance of switching between routine and ritual, and celebrating it, celebrating your skin, celebrating how you feel in it, appreciating it. And I know this may sound silly, but these little things add up to that feeling of elegance and feeling comfortable in your skin. And it's that graceful movement. It's training yourself, grooming yourself so that you slow down and move more gracefully. I don't know why I naturally have that habit of wanting to do things really fast. And sometimes I need to. It's come handy for me, but I can't seem to switch it off at other times. And by constantly working on that and practicing it in private, so that when I'm in public, it comes naturally to me and I'm gliding versus just racing through life, right? So that's another one. Back in the day, when, kids routine, especially when I was a working mom, there was this constant thing like, okay, that time, reading time, like you like get through, you knock off the things and you get your child in bed. But one day, like, they're not going to need us to give them a bath. They're not going to need us to read them a story. They're not going to need us to tuck them in. And why in God's name am I rushing through these things? I don't know. So I think we've just gotten in the habit of doing that. And that's another one where I really try to look at that as a ritual, not only for myself, but for my kids. Do I want to be known as a mom that frantically got their children in bed and went away? Like, I try to look at it from the lens of my children and how I would feel if my mom was just in a rush to get me off to bed so she can move on with her night. How that would make me feel. And I really force myself to slow down and make it a pleasant ritual, not only for myself, but for my children. Because really, it's just a matter, you don't even save that much time. I promise you guys, it seems like we save a ton of time by doing things quickly, but we don't. And we miss the moment. We miss these cherished little things. Like sometimes, and I'm ashamed to admit this, but I've noticed, like, when I was rushing my kids to get them to bed for whatever reason, if I had, like, something else to do or something, later on I would remember that my daughter or my son was trying to tell me a story or tell me something, and I was like, yeah, and then I was like rushing them. And that's not the kind of mom I want to be remembered for, right? That's not my legacy that I want to leave for my children. So it is so important to be mindful in these little things, because they're not going to be so little anymore. I have so many friends that have older children, and the way that they behave around my children when we go to lunch and do things, and they keep telling me, and I really take note of that just cherish every moment, cherish it, cherish it, cherish it. So let's not try to rush through these things, and let's just try to think of it as a ritual. Emily said, I do that a lot and I find myself feeling guilty for it. Emily, thank you so much for being honest and sharing that. And I think women, our middle name is guilt, right? We find ways to make ourselves feel bad. And that's not the point. The point is that we're learning and we're growing and we're trying to do the best that we can. And just take a day at a time. And I just try to say that this is not a bedtime routine. This is a ritual that I need to gracefully glide through this, not only for myself, but so that my children can remember this evening in a positive light. Radhime said, hi Mina, I also struggle with rushing through the day to do things. It is related to anxiety issues. I have anxiety issues too. Yes, so Radhima, I have talked about that. I have dealt with anxiety, and my dad, I've talked about my dad. He still deals with it. He's dealt with anxiety most of his life. I think it does stem from that, because it's an anxious behavior. But I do think that there is a way to cultivate that mindfulness and slow ourselves down. It's going to be a daily practice for you and me, because we're naturally anxious people maybe, but it's not impossible. Because I am still able to catch myself and stop and tell myself how ridiculous you are being right now, I can literally snap myself out of it. That's what gives me hope and faith that it's not like a permanent thing, and it's not like we need medication or something drastic. It's just literally just slowing ourselves down. And because I've made my children aware of this, they call me out on it now. They say, do you have somewhere to be? I will literally have my 12-year-old, it's really mindful of things like that. He will notice my behavior and my mood, and he will say, did you have a live chat schedule? And I'm like, no, why? He's like, you seem like you're in a rush. And so sometimes that will help me slow down. I'm like, no, I don't have a live chat scheduled. I don't have anything going. And that's part of the reason, guys, honestly. I know many of you guys have said, why don't I schedule my live chats? Why don't I announce them? Because I found that when I was announcing them and when I was setting a schedule, it stressed me out. And that's not the point of these. I love you guys. I love this time that we have together. But I know you guys love me too, and that you guys would not want me to be stressed out if I had announced the time. Because if I say I'm coming at this time, and if I'm 5 minutes late, I'm the kind of person that will really beat myself up over that, and I will rush and feel bad. So then I said, you know what? No, why do that to myself, and why do that to you guys? So that's why I eliminated that. So sometimes you're gonna have to make those changes, right? You're gonna have to do that. Let me read some more comments and then I will go through a few more of these. Let's see. Poonam, hi Poonam. She said, I love these chic women topics, Mina. I can literally listen to you the whole day. You're so sweet. You're so sweet. You're just so sweet. Poonam, weird thing. I swear to God, this is not some like weird ploy to like invite myself to your wedding, but I literally had a dream that I was at your wedding. So I swear this is not like some weird way to get an invitation from my subscribers, but it was the weirdest thing. Maybe because you sent me that picture, but anyways, so thought I'd just throw that out there. Ross said, my daughters are 12 years apart. My youngest is 11. So I'm trying to enjoy the time because time flew by with my 23-year-old. Yes, this is so important. I cannot believe that Armand is going to turn 13 this year. It's like, what happened? Like, where did the time go? And it really does help me be mindful because that's like, he's going to be 18 soon, like before I know it. And I don't want to be remembered by him as this rushing like just this mom that was just frantic and just racing through time. So I really appreciate that you guys are here to help me stay grounded as well and just enjoy the moment. Killian said, hey Mina, it's been such a long time since I've seen you live. Yes, I've missed you. I'm so glad you're here. And Mrs. Lopez said, yes, we love you too. Thank you so much, you guys. This is such a wonderful community. I absolutely adore you guys. You guys are wonderful. So I said the kids routine one, and I had a couple other ones. So same thing with my husband. So my husband loves his evening tea. And one of the things that he complained with in the beginning was that I'm not a huge like tea drinker. And when I say tea, it's chai, right? The Indian chai. That's what he likes to drink. And I could never get myself to like that. So I drink something else. Like I'll have either matcha tea or usually I'll have decaf coffee with him or lemon water. But I like to sit down and do that with him. And before I would just make it for him and give it to him and we would just like sit down somewhere and drink it, but not necessarily engaging with each other or turning it into a celebration. It was more like a routine. It wasn't a ritual. And now, I've shared this before, we go outside and sit on our patio and we will enjoy the tea there. He has his tea and whatever I'm drinking. And sometimes we'll talk. Sometimes we won't talk. We're just sitting, but we're really just taking the time and enjoying it. Sometimes our kids will join us. Sometimes they'll be inside. But that simple shift has changed it so much so that I just feel like it's trickled into my relationship with my husband, even when we're not doing that ritual. And it's just so interesting. And it's really helped me realize that these simple, guys, sometimes we think that it's some big thing that, only if my husband would do this or only if my husband would say this, right? We think it's this big glorious thing, but it's really the little things. It's those little things that we build on. It's those little romances. It's not that big Valentine's Day, right? And Valentine's Day may be wonderful and maybe you have this whole ritual around Valentine's Day and that's awesome. But what if you marry somebody that's not really into like those big celebrations, right? And you're so focused on that one big thing that you miss out on those so many more daily things. And I think I was doing that because I never realized the simple pleasure that my husband wanted of just somebody sitting down with him and enjoying tea. And I should have taken it as a hint when he said, oh, when my sister would come, he would say, oh, finally I have somebody to drink tea with. And he said those kind of things enough where I made it realize that when my sister was over, I tended to sit down and make it more a ritual. But when she wasn't over, I would just give him his tea and I'd drink whatever I was drinking. But it wasn't this like celebration. And so I said, I love it when my sister's here and that's definitely worth celebrating. But why can't him and I just celebrate every day? And it's 15 minutes, literally 15 minutes of that attention, of that undivided attention. It's like a mini date and that trickles into other things. And it's so funny because you guys remember I complained that, I felt like we were watching too much TV at night and I felt like I could be working at that time. And my whole mind has shifted. Since I do that little tea ritual for him on the porch, I've noticed that when we're in bed and we're watching a movie together or a show, right now we just started watching Mad Men and I'm obsessed with it. We just started, obsessed. I don't know how I never noticed this show before, but We just started a few days ago, and I've been just really enjoying that time together. So sometimes we blame other people, but it's really our own mindset. It's that attitude shift, right? So let's see. Poonam said, "Oh, OMG, thanks for sharing. Makes my day that you thought of me. Wedding is in November. Wish you would be there in India." It's in India. Oh, okay. Well, when you come back and if you do something here, then maybe we can make it happen. That's amazing. Oh my God, November, my birthday month. So that's amazing, and we will definitely touch base on that. Radhima said, "Congratulations, Poonam. Best of wishes for your life ahead." And I've seen pictures, and they make such a cute couple. That's what I love about this community, is that I met you guys through this YouTube channel, but I love when you guys share your personal details of your life and your celebrations and all the wonderful things that are happening. And sometimes I will even hear about, parents getting illnesses and parents passing away or things. And I love that we can share that as a community. We can share in each other's celebrations and also be there for each other when we need each other. That's all I asked for from this channel, and I'm so blessed that I got it. Poonam said, I have started dry brushing because of you, and I really look forward to do that before bath. It's now a ritual for me. That's awesome. It just makes your body just feel really alive and tingly, so I'm happy about that. Archana said, "How does a chic woman handle mood swings?" Ooh, that's a good one. So Archana, personally, typically relate mood swings to hormonal changes, and I have found a correlation in myself with what I was eating. So or if it's that time of the month, right? We all have mood swings, I think, during that time. But if I have a day or two of consistently eating sugar or overdoing it on carbs, the third day, fourth day, I will notice that I'm having mood swings or anxiety and things like that. And the best thing you can do in that situation is to catch yourself and realize that this is not you. This is a mood. And sometimes I've even had to apologize to loved ones because if I answered too quickly, if I was so rash. So I think a graceful, elegant woman would be able to catch herself, and she would realize if she hurt somebody's feelings or if she was a little rash with somebody, and apologize. And I noticed that when I catch myself and say, "Hey, that's a nasty mood you're in, like what's going on?" Like, I'm able to ground myself and take a time out for myself and get myself back into me. When I don't catch myself and I just let it kind of be, it's when it can escalate into like just turning into like, there's a difference between having a mood like moment, and then it's like where you turn it into a day, and then it turns into a week, and then you're just that person that's just like on a crazy roller coaster. So if you can catch yourself and change your state. This is something that Tony Robbins, Archana, if you want to watch Tony Robbins here on YouTube, he's got a lot of interviews and little presentations and shows. He talks a lot about your current state and realizing that whatever is happening to you right now is your current state, and that you can change your state, and that it's a temporary thing. It's in your control. And so if you can learn to realize that this is just my current state and I can change it, you gain control back. So let's see. Alex said, "Reminds me of the Snickers bar commercial. Tony Robbins recommends a change of state." Oh my God, Mina, we're connected. Yes. Tony Robbins is all about the state, right? Like changing your state. And, my husband is not so much into this stuff, right? But even I had him watch a couple of interviews of Tony Robbins, and the change of state thing even resonated with him. I think sometimes women tend to be more into this kind of stuff, but it was interesting for me because Irfan did enjoy the way he explained that, and he said that was very interesting because the part that Irfan liked most about that, and maybe he could talk about it in the next video, was that he liked that what stood out to him is how Tony Robbins says to evaluate your current state, but to evaluate it the way it is, and don't over what's the word I'm looking for? Like, don't turn a mole into a mountain. Like, don't exaggerate it and don't like underestimate it, but just do it in the current state. And I thought that was very interesting because I've heard the same talk many times. and I miss that part because, you know, I think as women sometimes we do tend to overanalyze and or like turn it into something bigger, and I'm trying to become more mindful of that. Sometimes if I get into like a little argument, or if I'm having a bad mood, and if I want to turn it into something bigger, I remind myself that this is just my current state, and I'm not going to even remember this tomorrow. Like, it's not worth arguing over or turning it into a thing. So I do like that. Killian said, I'm so happy you're talking about this. I remember not long ago, I was complaining of not getting help with my disabled daughter, and now I enjoy every minute of it. It's the perspective that changes it. Yes, from routine to ritual. Oh, Killian, that is so true. It's really that slight shift of attitude. So if you look at the core definition of ritual and routine, it's a lot of similarities there, right? But, you know, it looks like it's the same, but it's so different because of that shift. It's that mindfulness. It's that, you know, taking the time and being present. And I'm happy in a lot of the routines that I have and just getting through them because, you know, at that point I'm thinking, hey, I'm just getting my big girl panties on right now, and I'm just gonna get through this, and I'm just gonna adult and get done through this, right? And that's okay. Some things need to just be routines. But then, what if everything was routine in your life? What if you just went through everything and you never savored anything and you never took that moment? Especially when it comes to our self-care and, you know, the self-care of our loved ones. Or not self-care, the care of our loved ones. We don't want to rush them through it. And we give off that energy. I know this so well because when my moods shift or my energy shifts, when I'm doing something gracefully versus when I'm rushing, I notice that my family's pace changes, because I really mean this when I say that the woman is the heart and soul of the family. You set the pace, you set the tone for your family, because I can attest to this, that I set the tone. If I am happy and vibrant and calm and graceful and elegant in my movement, in my mood, I notice that that's how my husband and my children behave. If I am very antsy someday and I'm anxious and I'm just like, come on guys, we gotta do this, blah, 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 like I'm just like rushing, I notice that their body movements, the way they're carrying themselves, the way they're speaking, the way they're moving, everything changes. And I have caught myself, and I've shifted my behavior, and I've shifted their behavior in a matter of minutes. It's just fascinating to me how much we have control. And we think we have no control. And we think, oh, you know, we're just busy. Life is just happening. I don't have time. You know, we just have this imaginary place to be. And really, at the end of it, we're all going to die at the end of it, right? Not to get so morbid, but what are we rushing to? Our death? Like, you know, like slow down, savor these moments. Literally, this is it. This is it. Like the moments that we have right now, we don't know what's happening tomorrow, right? So if we're just rushing through every single day, every single year, every decade, we're on this constant race to nothingness. Like it doesn't even make sense to me. It's ridiculous. And I do it too. So I'm not saying, you know, I'm not trying to blame other people. It's just, I've done this for years mindlessly. And now it's time for me to slow down and savor these little moments. I am so notorious when it comes to food. This is one, guys, where I've not been able to. This is one where I failed every single time. My biggest failure to date is I don't know what it is. I can't eat slow. I eat super fast. Literally, I will set the dinner table, get my kids to dinner, and let's say that I'm like still setting the table or bringing things. And let's say I sit down 20 minutes after they did. It's usually not that much, but let's just say I will still be the first person done. And this has been a annoying habit of mine, and one that I'm desperately working at, because I know that this causes a lot of intestinal, digestive issues for me. I've had doctors tell me that you have to eat slow, it causes bloating, and I have chronic bloating, so I need to slow down. The first time I ever noticed this was when I was 21. My mom pointed this out to me. I was going to a very elegant party with her, and I was dressed, and I had my makeup done, my hair done, and my mom, the whole way there, kept telling me how beautiful I looked. She was like, you look like a princess, like, you know how moms are. And she just kept telling me how beautiful I looked, how elegant, how graceful. And I get there, and I don't know what came over me, and I'm at this really elegant party, and I keep telling my mom how hungry I am, and she's like, okay, okay. So I say, and I'm 21, so it's not like I'm a child either, right? So I tell my mom, and for the third or fourth time, and my mom's like, I have a Snickers in my purse, which is the oddest thing because my mom didn't even eat candy. And so I was like, I'll take it. So she hands me the Snickers, and I like gulped it down. Like I like inhaled it. And right when I was eating it, my mom's like, "Oh my god, like you looked like a princess and you looked so elegant until you did that." And she's like, "You just ruined it." And I just remember this to the same day. I should someday share that picture with you guys. I have a picture of that day, and every time I look at it, I'm like, "Oh, that Snickers bar." Because I know now how I eat, and I must have just like looked ridiculous. And then a few years later, I was out. I used to go out to dinner with my girlfriend once a month. We would go out. She was my best friend, and we would go out. And one day she said, she's like, going to dinner with you is like going to dinner with a homeless person. And I was like, what? Like, I'm dressed nice. Like, what do you mean? And we would get all dolled up for this event once a month. And she goes, you eat really fast. People stare at you. Like, you eat like you've never eaten before. And those two incidents like really made me realize how fast I eat and how unelegant that is. Like, that is just not graceful. It's not elegant. I've tried the whole fork thing down. I've done everything. And I literally have to talk through this now. A few days ago, I had done meditation literally before sitting down at the dinner table. And I was like, this is another tactic I want to share with you guys, is I do this when I'm going to enter into a situation where it's either difficult or something I'm working on. So I'll talk to you guys about that in a minute. But basically, I said to myself, Mina, you're about to go have dinner. Please eat slow. Please eat mindfully. Enjoy the moment, all that. I did that pep talk. And I sit down to dinner. And we're having a lovely dinner, and we're having lovely conversation. My son's telling me this lovely story. And I'm so mindful about listening and enjoying that conversation that I literally inhaled my food. And so I'm like, why can't I multitask in mindfulness? So I don't know what it is, but let's see what you guys are saying. Alex said posture is important. Change your posture and breathing. Oh, I love that. Killian said, yes, I was always on go, 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 but things have definitely slowed down and everyone is so much happier. Killian, that makes me so happy. I haven't heard from you in a while, so I was a little worried, but I'm glad to hear that. So good. Caitlin said, I eat quickly too. It's difficult because my husband takes his time and I'm always done way before him. Anytime we eat together, I always feel less feminine. Oh, girl, I feel you. So in my family, Alina and Irfan eat at a very normal, healthy pace. I eat at a very abnormally fast pace. And then my boys, my sons, eat so slow. Oh my God. Oh my God. Sometimes they drive me crazy. If I allow it, they will take an hour and a half to finish a meal. I've timed it. I'm not exaggerating. So we have some extremes in our family. So dinner time is quite interesting. But we joke about it. Sometimes I joke with Armand that if I could just like somehow we could just like hit each other on the head or something and just like find a balance. Alex said Buddhist monks believe that each of us come to this life with a certain number of finite breaths. If we are rushing, we usually are breathing fast and not on purpose. Wow. When we are in the now, our breath slows down. Wow, that is very interesting, Alex. That's so interesting that you say that because my mom was always rushed and always on the go. She was always late everywhere, and she was very poor at time management. She always had a lot going on. Wonderful lady, achieved a lot, but just always late, always all over the place. And somebody had said a few years after she died that they have noticed that women that live that way, just frantic and very fast and go, 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 die at an early age. And it's when you said that, that's what it made me think of. That's very interesting. Caitlin, yes, I can totally relate. Alex said a trick to slow down eating is count your bites or always put down your fork. I've done that, babe. Oh, girl, I've done that. I literally feel like I've gone to the sink to put away my fork and go get it back. But I don't know what it is. I need to stop. Sometimes I literally feel like I'm going to choke. Like, it's just the weirdest thing. One thing, so kind of backtrack. And the other thing, I was talking about how that meditate thing. So a lot of you guys have said that, you guys try to live elegantly and you try to be graceful and you'll be doing fine. But then you have situations where you have to deal with, let's say you have a toxic parent or a toxic friend or toxic boss or a tough situation that you have to go into, or somebody's coming into your home. And one thing that really helps me in those situations is to have like a mini meditation type series session, and where this is where I really get mindful. And because sometimes what happens is that if you are dreading something and you just go into it, something can happen and they can push your buttons and they can say certain things that set you off, and then you may say something and it quickly escalates the situation. But what I've noticed is that if I'm going to be in a situation where I'm encountering people that have a history of being difficult with me or have a history of triggering things in me, I will give myself a little meditation pep talk thing. And literally, this could be in the car, this could be at home. I will literally just sit and I quietly tell myself that I am in control of my behavior, that I do not control other people, that I am not their keeper, that I am my keeper, and that I will be okay, that I'm going to be graceful, and that I'm going to be elegant, I'm going to keep my cool, I'm going to enjoy everybody's company, and I'm going to walk out of there gracefully. This is such a mindset shift. And sometimes I do this when I have to make phone calls to people, relatives that I know tend to be difficult, but I want to be a good family member and I want to check in with people. So I will give myself a little meditation thing and I will say, I'm going to make this call and I'm going to be graceful and I'm going to be elegant and I will get through it. And at the end of it, I will reward myself with a hot cup, a decaf coffee. If you like tea, a hot cup of tea. I will reward myself with 30 minutes of YouTube time. Just something where you have a plan going in, you have an exit strategy, and then you have a reward. And it just makes it so much easier. I don't know. I know maybe it sounds silly. I don't know what you guys think of it, but it gives me control back. It gives me an out. It gives me a game plan. And if I'm in that situation and if that person that has that history of triggering me or saying something negative, if they say it, I find myself not getting triggered because I gave myself that meditation or that little calmness, that pep talk, and that assurance that I was going to handle it gracefully. And sometimes I will just smile, or sometimes I will say something back, but not something that can escalate, something a little bit more gracious, and that's it. And then I know that when that thing is over, I have like a reward at the end of it. It's almost like giving your child a sticker for doing something good, but yeah, it's that sticker. So that really helps me so much. So I thought I would mention it. I don't think I've mentioned it in any other videos. Ross said, I eat quickly too. I noticed that it's because I don't eat snacks in between meals. I started bringing nuts with me to eat on the way to lunch so I don't inhale my meal. So Ross, for me, I don't even think it's that. If I had a snack, I'd inhale that snack and I'd inhale the meal. I don't know. I don't know what's the rush. It's this weird like fight or flight thing, almost like, I don't know. I'm working on it. But I know what you mean. Like, it's not even from hunger. It's not from extreme hunger or anything like that. I've even done like, how I do the green juice. So I've done like my green smoothies and things where I know I'm not even that hungry. But no, girl, I don't know. Something's wrong with me there. I'm working on that. Archana said, I'm like your mom, Mina. I have poor time management skills. Either I'm too early or late everywhere and rush my kids. I did have that a little bit too, like where I would get there almost too early. Definitely got that from my dad. So my mom was late everywhere, like 2 hours late everywhere. And my dad would end up there an hour early and then just sit in the car. And I thought both of those behaviors were pretty dysfunctional. And then I started doing that too, where I would always arrive everywhere 10 minutes ahead of time. So Irfan and I are both pretty punctual, and we are those ridiculous couple that like gets invited somewhere and we're the first ones there. Sometimes now we will drive around. So I'm trying to work on that too, like where we give ourselves permission to be fashionably late 10 minutes, especially because like in the Indian culture, it's like so okay to, like they call it Indian Standard Time, where it's like almost okay to be late 2 hours, but we never got into that. So I know what you mean. And that's again, Archana, the fact that you're here and you're talking about it, that is the first shift. Because if you weren't even mindful of it, if you weren't even discussing it, there's nothing to change, right? But the fact that you know that this is a problem and you're catching yourself and you're discussing it, that is the first step. So you have to catch yourself. Now, every time I'm somewhere 5 minutes early, I tell myself, you did it again. You came 5 minutes early. Like, you don't have to rush. You don't have to be everywhere. The first one everywhere. It's okay to be 5 minutes late. It's okay. Nobody will mind. So guys, I will let you guys go and enjoy the rest of your Friday evening or morning, depending on where you are. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for appreciating this new series that I did, and I've been loving it and really enjoying it. So I will catch you guys later, and that's it, guys. Bye.